What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Norse Arms. My name is Alan. I hope everyone had an excellent holiday season as well as a happy new year. So, let's say for your new year resolution, you decided you were going to try something new and you wanted to get into a new hobby, or you wanted to take your personal protection seriously. Well, I kind of wanted to help you figure out some of the things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to making your first firearm purchase. There's a lot to it, but not a lot to it. It's pretty simple, but if you don't know what to be thinking about, you're gonna screw yourself over eventually. So let's go ahead and roll into the first thing you need to keep in mind, which is what is the purpose? So when it comes to making your first firearm purchase, you need to figure out what your purpose for buying the firearm is. Is it going to be something that you're getting for just plinking? Is it going to be something that you're getting for personal protection or home defense or both? Is it going to be your daily carry as well as your nightstand gun? Or maybe you're thinking about going into competition. Figure out what your purpose is with it and why you're getting it, and go from there. And that'll start helping you figure out which platform to go with, whether you want to get some kind of a long gun like a bolt action rifle, or if you want to go with a semi-automatic rifle or a shotgun, pump action, break action, semi-automatic, or if you're going to be looking into getting some kind of a handgun. Breaking it down like that is going to help you figure out which direction to go and how to start into the next topic, which is going to be building your budget. So let's go ahead and talk about how you're going to want to lay that out and just some things to keep in mind there as well. When it comes to building your budget, one thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you break it up. The purchase of the handgun, the purchase of the rifle, the purchase of the shotgun, that's not all you're going to have to do. Shotgun, you might get away with just getting the shotgun. But to become proficient with it, you need to keep a few things in mind. Just like any other firearm, get training. That is one thing you're going to need to pay for with any firearm, whether it be a handgun, rifle, or shotgun. Training. If you haven't handled them very much, or you haven't for a long time, I would recommend finding a class for that. Think about the accessories that you're going to need. If you need to get a safe, if you need to get lock boxes, if you need to get holsters, slings, optics, anything along those lines, you need to keep that in mind. So it's best to break it into thirds when it comes to building a budget. 1/3 is the firearm itself. 1/3, usually I set it up to be the accessories and the ammunition. And the other third is usually going to be the training, which the training is also going to come with some ammunition as well. So the ammo kind of bounces between the two when it comes to making your budget. But that's also going to dictate what you're going to choose as far as caliber. If you get a 9mm, if you get a 45, 10mm, 44 Magnum, you got a 45-70 lever action, something like that. You get something where the ammunition is so expensive, you're not going to be able to afford the training. Because each time you go out and train with independent instructors, and I'm not talking like the basic classes, because usually for like the NRA classes, it's going to be the firearm and the ammunition are going to be provided to you, and 9 times out of 10, just because most of the beginners, it's going to be a 22. It's not like that. If you are going to take a class with an independent instructor, you're going to have to take your own setup out and take your own ammunition out. And usually, bare minimum you're going to want is roughly 500 rounds. 500 to 1,000 rounds is usually what you're going to burn through in a decent range day, especially if you're training and working on new fundamentals. So keep that in mind when you're building a budget. It can get expensive, but if you budget it right and you get the right setup and you get the right ammunition and the right caliber, you should be okay. So just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and roll into the next portion, which is going to be how serviceable is it? But when it comes to selecting a firearm, you want to see how serviceable it is, how available are parts, how available are accessories, how available is it to be modified. Because each state's going to have different laws. Each state's going to have different enactments. You may not be able to get one type of firearm that is mostly modifiable, and it is pretty inexpensive because they're not allowed to be sold in your state. Washington State, can't get that no more. Can't get magazines for that. Can't get mags for half the stuff that I have. Can't get parts for a lot of the stuff. I can get certain parts for this, but not as many as I used to. You used to be able to go walk into any FFL and get pretty much any service part that you needed. Now, not all of them are allowing to do that. So it's just something to keep in mind. Know your local laws and what is and isn't available to you at higher quantities. And higher grade. You want to make sure that if you're going to be doing an upgrade, that you're not getting an actual downgrade in materials to get a better part. Next, you want to think about your knowledge base. How much do you actually know? How much do you know about firearms? Do you just know keep the booger hook off the bang button? Do you just know how to make sure to stay safe? Just know the basic firearm rules? Or do you know the intimate interior workings of a handgun or a rifle or what have you? If you know it and you just don't have one, excellent, great. That's one thing to check off the list. But if you have very little knowledge about the actual firearm and platform, you're going to want to brush up on that. That's something you need to keep in mind. How available is the information on it? Is it something that is extremely popular? Is it something that everyone has something of it? Like United States, you really can't go more than half a mile without passing somebody's home that either has a Glock 19 or a SIG 365 or an AR-15. And it's even getting to the point now where you can't go past 5 miles and not pass a house that has an AK in it. It's how prolific is it in that area to find the information you need to gain the knowledge to not only manipulate, but service and repair yourself if need be. Because if you're in a situation, you need to make sure that you can actually service it. So that's one thing that you need to keep in mind is how much knowledge do I actually have on this platform that I'm looking at getting? Do I need to gain more knowledge? And one thing I've learned through all the years of everything I've ever done, your cup's never full. You either empty the cup or your cup's half full. That's it. Always gain more knowledge. It never hurts. I'm still to this day learning so much, and I've been into firearms most of my life. The next thing when it comes to purchasing is testing. Testing different firearms. See what's going to work for you. Like I said, you need to figure out your purpose. Okay, well, now that you know your purpose, you know what platform to go with. Well, now that you know what platform to go with and roughly what your budget is and how affordable everything is, now you've got a spread of a certain amount of firearms. Like, let's just say you've decided that you're going to get a handgun and your budget is going to be anywhere between $3 to $7 depending on the setup, right? So you got $300 to $700 to spend on your setup, and you've decided to go with a handgun. And everybody's telling you just go with the Glock 19. Just get the Glock 19. Well, you go and you buy it. Okay, cool. It felt decent at the gun counter, but then you actually take it to the range to run it, and it's uncomfortable. It's like with me personally, a little bit of a personal story. My buddy had a Gen 5 Glock 19 that he brought out to the range. I brought out my Palmetto State Armory dagger. And the dagger has a little bit better ergonomics for me, but I was not expecting to dislike it that much. I literally felt like I was just grabbing a chunk of plastic. I did not like it. And it's personal. I did not like the Gen 5 Glock 19. It was not comfortable for me to shoot. It was not comfortable for me to run. And if I would have bought one, because everybody told me to get one, I would have been deeply disappointed and I would have been very upset about actually getting that firearm. So go to the ranges and test. Find a friend that maybe has one. Find somebody like me that you know that happens to have a little bit of everything. You can try a single action revolver. You can try a double action revolver. You can try 1911 hammerfire. You can try a striker fire. You can try dagger, Smith & Wesson, SAR. You can try TSIS. You can try a plethora of different firearms. Go to ranges that rent. If you can find a range that actually rents out the model that you want, the make that you want, go and test it out. Just know that most of those have actually been run through, so they're going to operate a little bit different than brand new. But it'll give you a feel for the recoil impulse. It'll give you a feel for the gripping. It'll give you a feel of the trigger. You'll kind of understand what you're looking at in comparison and which one you're going to like best. Not every firearm fits everyone's hand the exact same way or is as comfortable for everyone to run. Like I said, I can't run the Glock Gen 5 19. I can't stand it. If I absolutely have to, I can. But overall, I can't stand the way it feels or fits in my hand. That's just me. And I know I'm going to get some hate for that down in the comments. Now, if you're somebody out here that's looking at places like right here on Norris Arms, let's say you're looking for internet reviews. You want to see who says what about what thing. Well, I like so and so, so I'm going to listen to what they say, or I like so and so, so I'm going to listen to what they say, or oh, you like me? Hey, I like me too, but let's calm down. No, if you're looking for somebody to listen to when it comes to online, everybody's going to have a different opinion. Everybody has a different physiology. Everybody has different size hands, different length fingers, different feel, different nerve, different. Everybody's going to have a preference. Everyone's ranting and raving about a firearm. Cool, great. Go look at some of the smaller creators, see what they say. That's all I'm saying. It's nothing against the larger creators. It's nothing against the big boys because they are the big boys. I'm not sitting here and trying to get clout being like, they're dishonest or they're shills and I'm not and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying larger creators have more connections and usually will have the ability to get something with whether they know it or not that's a little bit more cherry picked. Just keep it in mind. Just some things to keep in mind. All right, guys. So that's about it. Here's the quick breakdown. Know why you're getting it, your purpose. Know what your budget's going to be and how to break it down into the best way to get the most out of your firearm. You need to know serviceability. You need to know what your knowledge base is of the said platform. And whenever you're taking into consideration a firearm, test as much as you can at any of the FFLs that actually do at the ranges that do rent them out, and take reviews with a grain of salt. That's all I got for you guys today. Stay safe, stay savage, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Better part. Notepad. Can't remember everything. ADHD's fun, isn't it?